The phone buzzes on the table. It's a name you know, a friend, maybe family. You answer. The conversation starts normally, but there's a shift, a hesitation in their voice. Then, the question arrives. It's not a big ask, they say. Just a temporary thing. Could you lend some money? For a lot of people, this is just a moment. A bit of quick math, a decision, and life moves on. But for you, something else happens. The room doesn't feel the same. The air gets heavier. It's a physical reaction before it's a thought. Your chest tightens a little. Your mind, which was just quiet, is now a crowded room. It's not about the amount. It's about what the request represents. It's a door swinging open into your private space. Your finances aren't just numbers in an account. They are your quiet. They are your plan for next month, your cushion for the unexpected doctor's visit, your proof that you can handle what life throws at you. That money represents stability. And now, someone is asking to borrow a piece of that stability. Your brain starts working instantly without your permission. You're running scenarios. What if they can't pay it back? What if this changes how they talk to you? What if you have to ask for it, and your voice sounds strained? The mental load is immediate and exhausting. It's not a loan. It's a package of future conversations, potential awkwardness, and a timer that's now ticking in the back of your mind. This reaction isn't coldness. It's not a lack of generosity. It's a defense mechanism. For you, money is tied to safety, to predictability, to control over your own peace. Lending it feels like handing over a piece of that control. You're not just giving cash. You're potentially giving up nights of easy sleep, the comfort of knowing exactly where you stand. And already, there's a guilt. You feel guilty for feeling this way. You wonder if you're a bad person for your first instinct being to protect that sense of order. This internal conflict is the real weight of the request. It's the unseen cost. If you've ever felt your stomach drop at a request for a loan, you're not alone. This is a shared experience for many. Tell us in the comments if you recognize this feeling, that mix of tension and guilt before you even say a word. Let's understand it together. The problem is, the request is never just about money. It becomes a test of the relationship, a test of your image, a test of your own boundaries, and for someone who values their inner peace above all, it feels like being handed a test you never wanted to take. So you're standing there, phone to your ear, silence stretching for a second too long. In that silence, an entire invisible calculation is happening. It's fast, automatic, and deeply uncomfortable. You're not thinking about numbers first, you're thinking about fallout. The first variable in this mental equation is the relationship. Who is this person? A close friend you've known for 20 years? A cousin you see twice a year? The nature of the bond dictates the perceived risk. With a close friend, the fear isn't just losing money, it's the fear of losing the friendship's ease. Money has a way of introducing a silent scorecard. Once it's lent, the dynamic shifts. Will they avoid you because they feel awkward? Will you start analyzing their spending, noticing a new pair of shoes, and feel a quiet resentment build? Then comes the calculation of trust, which is really a calculation of predictability. Has this person been reliable before? Do they have a pattern? Your mind rifles through memories looking for data. A forgotten $10 from 5 years ago suddenly feels like crucial evidence. You're building a case, for and against, in a split second. But intertwined with all of this is a more subtle fear. The fear of being judged. If you say yes, will they think you're wealthy or careless with cash? If you say no, will the story become that you're stingy, that you don't care? You're managing an impression you never asked to give. This is the financial impression management. It's exhausting. You're trying to read the future, to guess how your decision will paint you in their mind. And beneath it all is the loss of a baseline. That money in your account, even if it's not touched for months, represents something. It's a what-if fund, a peace of mind fund. Lending it means erasing that line of defense. Your sense of security drops a few notches. You've lost your buffer. The world feels a little more precarious. For the person who dislikes lending, this isn't selfishness. It's a heightened awareness of consequence. They see the loan not as a single transaction, but as the first domino in a long, uncertain chain. They feel the weight of every possible future where they have to gently ask for repayment. Or worse, decide to never ask and live with a quiet grievance. The mental load is a real, tangible thing. It's the brain dedicating energy to tracking, worrying, and anticipating. It's the cognitive space that was free now being occupied by a silent, anxious guest. This is why the request feels like an invasion. It's not the person at the door. It's the army of thoughts and worries they bring with them, marching into your carefully organized mental space and setting up camp. You say yes? Maybe it's to avoid the guilt. Maybe it's out of genuine care. The money transfers. For a moment, there's relief. The hard part is over, you think, but it's not. That's when the real psychological shift happens. You have voluntarily given up control. Before the loan, your financial world had borders. You knew what was yours, what was allocated, what was safe. Now a piece of that world is outside the fence. You no longer control the timeline. Will it be a week? A month? 3 months? Every day that passes without a word about it becomes a subtle pressure. You check your phone, not for a message, but for the absence of one. You lose control over the narrative of your own peace. A Saturday morning, you're having coffee, trying to relax. And the thought intrudes. I wonder if they got paid yet. The tranquility is punctured. Your mind, which craves predictability, is now tied to someone else's unpredictable life. Their financial misstep, their delayed paycheck, their forgotten obligation, it all directly impacts your mental quiet. There's also the loss of control over the relationship's tone. Every interaction now has a subtext. When they text, "Hey, how are you?" Your brain, for a flash, wonders, is this about the money? A simple conversation feels layered. You might hold back from sharing good news about a bonus or a purchase, worried it will seem like you're rubbing it in or that you don't need the money back. The relationship is no longer simple, it has a ledger. This is the core of the discomfort for many. Money, for them, is a tool for autonomy. It's what allows them to say no to a terrible job, to handle a car repair without panic, to feel like an adult who can manage their own life. Lending it feels like handing a piece of that autonomy to someone else. You've made your own stability contingent on another person's actions, and with that loss of control comes a low-grade vulnerability. You're exposed. If they don't pay back, you face a terrible choice: swallow the loss and the resentment, or confront them and risk conflict. You're trapped in a situation with no clean exit. Saying yes locked you in. This is the lack of an exit route. It feels like you're standing in a room where someone else holds the key. So the tension isn't about greed, it's about self-preservation. It's the visceral reaction of someone who has learned that their sense of order is fragile, and that control over their environment, their time, their peace, is not a luxury, but a necessity. Lending money, in this light, isn't helping. It's agreeing to make your own inner peace temporarily dependent on factors you cannot influence. Think of your most private space. Maybe it's your bedroom, or a corner of the house that's just yours. That space is an extension of your mind. For the person who hesitates to lend, money is that space. It's not just currency, it's psychological territory. A territory of security. This goes beyond saving for a goal. It's about what the money means. Every dollar saved is a brick in a wall that keeps chaos out. It's a defense against the what-ifs that keep people awake at night. What if the car breaks down? What if I get sick? That money is the answer to those questions. It's quiet confidence. It's the ability to breathe. When someone asks to borrow from that reserve, it doesn't feel like they're asking for paper. It feels like they're asking to remove bricks from your wall. They're asking you to make your defense weaker, even temporarily, to stand a little closer to the edge of uncertainty that you work so hard to avoid. This is financial territoriality. The bank balance is a map of your safety, and a loan request is someone asking to redraw the borders, to blur the lines between what is securely yours and what is now in a risky, undefined zone. It triggers a primal sense of intrusion. Your peace is in that territory. Your ability to sleep without worry is stored there. For this person, money is deeply tied to emotional security. A stable account means a stable mind. It means not being thrown into anxiety by an unexpected bill. It means having the freedom to make choices from a place of abundance, not fear. Lending disrupts that entire ecosystem. It introduces a variable, a debt, not just on paper, but an emotional debt, a relational debt that now hangs over everything. This explains why sometimes, even when you have the money, the idea of lending it feels impossible. It's not about affordability, it's about integrity. The integrity of your safety system. Giving the money away leaves a hole in that system, and until it's returned, that hole is there. It's an open wound in your sense of order. You can feel its presence, a constant low hum of something being off. The person asking often doesn't see this. They see a number, they see spare cash. They don't see the fortress of calm that number represents. They don't feel the years of effort, the saying no to other things, the discipline it took to build that reserve. So when you hesitate, they might see stinginess. But what you're feeling is the protective instinct of someone guarding their hard-won peace. You're not counting coins. You're guarding the foundation of your mental well-being. It's a grief, in a way. A grief for the loss of that baseline security, even if it's temporary. The money leaving your account isn't just a transaction. It's the departure of a quiet assurance that took a long time to build, and you have no guarantee when, or if, that assurance will ever fully return to its post. The money is gone from your account. The agreement is made. Now, you enter the aftermath. This is where the invisible tax is paid, not in dollars, but in mental energy, in emotional bandwidth, in pure cognitive load. A calendar appears in your mind. A mental note, circled in red. The due date, spoken or unspoken, becomes a landmark. As that date approaches, your awareness sharpens. You wait. Maybe a text comes on the exact day. The relief is profound. But often there is silence. The date passes. Now, a new, more stressful phase begins. Do you remind them? The question loops. If you do, how do you phrase it? A casual, "Hey, how's it going?" hoping they'll remember? Or a direct ask that feels cold to your own ears? You draft and redraft messages in your head. You weigh the risk of annoyance against the weight of your own growing discomfort. This is the relational minefield you agreed to walk into. Every interaction with that person is now filtered through this lens. You notice things. They mention a weekend trip, a new gadget. Your brain, against your will, does the math. It feels ugly. You judge yourself for thinking it. But the thought is there. They could pay me back with that. Resentment begins as a small seed. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means your brain is trying to reconcile their actions with your loss. It's a protective anger, a signal that a boundary has been stretched. Meanwhile, your own financial cushion is thinner. That planned margin for error is gone. An unexpected expense that would have been a minor irritation is now a source of real stress. Because your buffer is in someone else's pocket, your safety net has a hole. This amplifies every other financial whisper in your life. The world feels less stable. This period, the gap between lending and the return of peace, is the true cost. It's the cost of vigilance, the cost of swallowed words, the cost of a friendship that now has a silent, awkward third party present. The debt. Even if the money is eventually returned, the relationship rarely returns to its exact original state. Something has been learned. A vulnerability was exposed. Trust was tested. For the person who values control and peace, this aftermath is a kind of torture. It's the opposite of what they crave. They crave closure, certainty, clean endings. A loan is an open loop. It's an unfinished sentence in the story of their finances and their relationship. And until it's closed, a part of their mind is dedicated to managing it, tracking it, worrying about it. That's the invisible tax. It's paid in the currency of quiet moments ruined by intrusive thoughts, in the subtle tension in your shoulders, in the loss of the simple, uncomplicated ease you had before the question was ever asked. So what does all this mean? If you see yourself in this pattern, the immediate tension, the mental calculus, the grief for your peace, it's crucial to understand the label. This is not a character flaw. It is not selfishness. It is a form of self-protection. Your mind is wired to associate money with stability, with safety, with the ability to navigate a world that is often unpredictable. That's a logical, intelligent association. When a loan request threatens that stability, your brain sounds an alarm. It's not an alarm of greed. It's an alarm of risk. Risk to your emotional equilibrium, risk to a relationship you value, risk to your hard-won sense of control. The guilt you feel is the conflict between this deep self-protective instinct and the social expectation to be endlessly generous. You're told that helping is always good, that money is just money. But for you, it's never just money. It's the foundation of your mental peace. Protecting that foundation is a legitimate need. It is the need of someone who understands their own limits, who knows what their peace requires to function. Recognizing this can be freeing. It means you can start to separate the feeling from the judgment. The discomfort is data. It's information telling you that this action, lending, comes with a high emotional cost for you. It drains your energy, occupies your thoughts, and makes you vulnerable. Acknowledging that cost is not cold. It's honest. This understanding also allows for clearer boundaries. Maybe you decide that lending to friends is a boundary you cannot cross without sacrificing your peace. That's valid. Maybe you find other ways to help that don't compromise your security, your time, your skills, a different form of support. The goal is not to become closed off, but to find ways of caring for others that don't require you to dismantle your own inner safety. Your reluctance is not about the other person, it's about you. It's about preserving the environment you need to be okay. A system that is constantly on alert, managing the fallout of loans, is a system that cannot rest. And everyone deserves to rest. Everyone deserves to have a corner of their life that feels predictable and secure. So the next time that request comes, and the familiar tension rises, you can pause. You can understand it. This is my peace asking to be preserved. This is my need for control signaling that it feels threatened. That doesn't make you the villain of the story. It makes you a person who knows deeply what it takes to keep your own world intact. And that is a profound form of self-knowledge. If this perspective on money and peace resonates with you, consider staying with us. Subscribing to the channel helps you find more content like this, and turning on notifications means you won't miss our next exploration into the psychology of everyday life. Thanks for listening.